Hey guys, I don't tend to go in for conspiracy theories, but I am a moose truther.
Huh?
And here's what I mean. A couple weeks ago, I went on vacation and I went to Maine and then up into Canada. I went to Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island and went with family and we were camping. And before we went, my wife turned to me and she said, "Do you know what I most want to see and do on this vacation?" I was like, "What?" And she was like, "I want to find a moose. That's what I want." And so I said, "Okay, that's fine. Well, I'm sure we'll probably see a moose. I mean, we're going to the right place and we're camping and we're hiking around. Like, we'll see a moose." And a couple days went by and the time was getting close and she kept mentioning this moose and finding a moose. And so finally I was like, "You know what? My love of my life, I'm going to find you a moose." And so we flew to Maine and I had the kids line up in front of the rented minivan at the airport. And I was like, "Girls, we have one mission. We need to find a moose for your mother. Let's do this." And they were like, "Yes, we will find a moose." And we spent the next 10 days on moose alert. We got up early so that we could go hiking early in the morning because that's when the moose are supposed to be out. And whenever we drove anywhere that was remote, 3 out of the 4 of us were looking for a moose, and one person got to rest because you can't look for a moose all the time. Anyway, so we're driving along and we're looking for the moose and really just soaking in the scenery. And everywhere that we went, we would sit outside. So if a moose came walking out of the woods or the forest, we would be there. Like, we were looking for the moose. We would cram in an extra, if not a hike, then at least sort of a walk along the forest, sort of a little nature walk or whatever at the end of the night, because when the sun's going down, that's moose o'clock. I read that somewhere on the internet, and I believe what I read on the internet. And so anyway, I'm out there and we did it. In like 10 days, we rose with the dawn to find a moose. We drove around looking for a moose. We stayed and went an extra hike at the end of the day so we could find a moose. And at the end of the trip, there's no moose. We never saw a moose. And I learned 2 things from this vacation. The first is, I don't believe the moose are real. I think moose are a conspiracy that is put on by the American park system and the Canadians. And I think that they just want us to visit them and to buy moose memorabilia. And when we buy it, they laugh at us like suckers. I think that moose are much more successful Sasquatches. You know how some people feel about the moon landing? That's how I feel about moose. Anyway, that's the first thing I learned, is that moose are a conspiracy. They're not real. The second thing I learned is everybody should have a moose.
Huh?
I did not see a moose, and my wife did not see a moose, and my kids did not see a moose. And it was one of the best vacations of my life. I absolutely loved it. I loved every minute of it. You know why? Because I had something I was doing. I had a reason to get up, and we got up and we got going, and we soaked in the environment. And when we walked, we looked at the forest and we listened and we were fully present in the moment. And we talked to each other, and we talked to each other about the moose, and we have to find the moose and let's be quiet because we're going to find the moose. I bet there's a moose around this corner. And we just talked to each other, and we were just fully present right there doing this silly thing of looking for this moose. And guys, it was a wonderful time together. It was a motivator for us just to get out and go and be in the world and just to do something. And it was absolutely wonderful. And in retrospect, I'm kind of glad we didn't find a moose, especially at the beginning. If we found a moose on the first day, I wonder how many fewer walks we would have done together, because finding that moose was the extra thing. And so I think everybody should have a moose that they're looking for. It doesn't matter if you don't find it. It doesn't matter if it's real, because it's a conspiracy by Canadians to make Americans come to their country and look foolish. Anyway, you should have a moose. And so, what's your moose? What is the thing that you're excited about? What is the thing that that makes you get out of bed? Like, what's the thing where you're like, it's my day off. I'm going to get going. I'm going to go find something. Maybe your moose is more sleep. I was like, I don't know. Seems like a moose. You're like, I'm always looking for good sleep. Well, go. That's a worthy, as I get older, I get that more and more. Think about it. I think having a moose is a good thing. I think it's probably one of the real secrets in life, is that we should all have a moose. We should all have something we're excited about. We should all have something that motivates us to go. So anyway, it doesn't matter if you don't find it. I don't think finding is the point. I think having it so that you're looking for it, I think that was it about. Anyway, take care of yourselves, guys. I'll talk to you later.